Hello and welcome to the Fighting Spirit Podcast. As always, I'm Jason, and I'm here to bring you one last whiskey review before we get back to the fights on Tuesday. So, what we'll be doing this time around is Blanton's Single Barrel Bourbon Whiskey. So, let's get into it. Here's the show. Now, before we get into the look, bottle, nose, taste in the front, taste in the back, price, and an overall score for Blanton's Single Barrel Bourbon Whiskey, I just want to give a shout out to Tyson Fury. I just finished up his match tonight here against Schwartz, and that was one hell of a performance. I mean, he got the TKO in the second round. He got a knockdown. I mean, Tyson Fury is just looking great, and it's just a great time for boxing. I know we're an MMA podcast, and this is a whiskey review, but I just finished that one up. And the showmanship coming out with the Rocky IV walkout, To Living in America by James Brown, and then him singing the Armageddon theme or soundtrack song by Aerosmith. I don't want to miss a thing. And the guy's got one hell of a voice. This guy's a Class A entertainer. I definitely recommend you go back and watch the fight. It's like 7 minutes long. It's totally worth it, including the walkout for Fury. I do look forward to watching that guy fight again. Anyways, total sidebar. Let's get into it here. So what we're here to talk about is Blanton's Single Barrel Bourbon Whiskey. And so we're going to start here, as always, with the bottle. And this is a gorgeous bottle. It has this beautiful geometric shape. It almost looks like a hand grenade, right? It's got like a long top, and then it just has this... it's almost like a turtle shell. It's got all these like little glass panels that are on it, and it just really catches your eye. It's got a beautiful, brown label across with a lot of information telling me, when this bourbon was bottled, telling me, who did it, which house it was in. Just great information. This is bottle 253 coming from Frankfort, Kentucky. This is just some amazing stuff, and the top as well. So it has a cork. And the cork has this beautiful bronze horse, this racing horse for its Kentucky roots right on top. And just kind of a nice little thing to know is that if you actually collect enough of these bottles, the letters that are in the lower corner actually will spell out the name Blantons. Right now, my bottle has an S on it, and I learned that from my friend in the business. You may have remembered him from the Hypecast, Kurt. You happen to be in, my local area, he's definitely the man to talk to you about stuff. Anyways, I'm giving him a weird shout out here. Let's get back into the review. So, beautiful bottle. As I mentioned, have the little S there. If you collect them, they will spell Blantons, like I said. And it's just gorgeous. The bourbon one, I'm not going to get quite into the look of it just yet, but it just sits really nicely in the bottle, and it just looks amazing. So, I think for this, we're going to go just an A on the bottle. It's very eye-catching, and especially with that stopper, it just looks really nice. All right, so I've poured myself out some here. Let's take a look at what we can see here on the look of the whiskey itself. So when I look at this, coats the glass really nicely. It's not very, very viscous, but it just really coats nicely. You can see as I swirl it around here that it goes up and it comes down. You can see that it leaves a little bit of a look on the glass as you move it around. And it looks like really nice, like a light maple syrup ness quality to it. It coats nicely, like I said, just leather, hazels, a little bit of yellow in there, a little bit of brown. The light shines through it nicely. It's just a really nice, deep-looking whiskey, but not too deep. It definitely has, like I said, that hazel, yellowish quality to it, but it's really high quality. It looks really nice. And so, based on look alone, I would have to say this is a B+. I do like something to be a little bit darker and richer, but I mean, this is right up there. You're definitely not going to be disappointed by holding this in your glass. Then we get into the nose. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a nose here. Okay, that's nice. It's super smooth. I can already tell you that. There's really no alcohol bite here at all when you put your nose, even deep in my sniffer here. This is a perfectly neat bourbon, even though it is coming in at that 93 proof. Well, let's see. What am I getting hit with? Yeah, I'm getting punched right in the nose in a really good way with just vanilla and I think a bit of maple. No real like tartness or bitterness there. Like I'm not getting any like plum or anything, that would make me think of anything tart on a whiskey. Yeah, maybe even just like a little bit of leather in there, just like a nice cured piece of leather, freshly tanned. Yeah, a lot of vanilla though, and even a little bit of cinnamon in there. I think I think this is going to have just a hint of spice to it. I can definitely see that being a thing. Maybe just a little hint of spice, I think, is what we're going to get in here. But yeah, lots of vanilla, lots of maple, maybe a molasses quality. I mean, there's a lot of cookie elements here for this single barrel bourbon here. It just smells really nice. I think, yeah, there's a lot to it. Because I'm missing, I feel like I'm missing maybe a few layers. I feel like everything's just so forward and just punchy with it. I'm going to go A-, just because it's not giving me the total subtlety I think I'm looking for. But this is a really nice nose on. You might give it an A yourself if you yourself are drinking it. All right, let's go in for a taste, though, and see what we can muster here from this very forward bourbon. Okay, I am getting, before I even get into the flavors, this is coating the mouth really nicely. Like, there is some body to this bourbon, and it goes down really well. Smoothness, as well as just mouthfeel, is just really good. Like I said, full-bodied. You're going to know it's in there, and it feels really nice on the palate. As far as taste, though, it still punches really hard with that vanilla and brown sugar, and it's not a bad thing. It's like, taking a bite of like a sticky roll, or is there some cinnamon? On the back, there might be some cinnamon and molasses. I know I'm just talking about the front here right now, but let me go in for another taste because I think I have an idea what this kind of composite is. You know what? This is like a cinnamon sticky bun in a lot of ways. So there's a little bit of subtle sweetness. There is a punch of vanilla and brown sugar up front. Bang, hits you right away. Then it settles in the back of the palate, and I'm getting that little bit of spice, that little bit of cinnamon, and it just kind of settles right in and goes down warm. That is an exceptionally great bourbon because it comes on so strong with those 4 flavors, with the vanilla and the brown sugar and the maple too. There's some maple in there. And then it just settles right back into like a nice spiciness. No tartness at all. There's no shock to your palate at all like with some other stuff we've tasted. This settles really nice into a spice with a little bit of cinnamon in there. And it kind of completes the cinnamon sticky roll. It kind of completes like your Cinnabon-esque taste profile you're looking for. And I gotta say, I mean, it's in a beautiful way. There's nothing artificial tasting about this. So if you think like, this tastes like, fake vanilla or imitation extract, mixed with some food coloring, I'm not doing it justice if that's what you're thinking. I mean, this stuff tastes wonderful. Super smooth. Just has those wonderful flavor characteristics. I'm going to say this is going to be taste in the front, taste in the back, A-minuses both. I'm hesitant to give something a perfect score, but this could edge up to be that A you guys might be looking for. I'm going A-minuses across the board here for taste, front and back, but yeah, it's got a great finish. It's got a great hit up front. It is some really good stuff. Then we get on to price. So price is a factor here. We definitely have to take it into consideration. This is a little more expensive bourbon, not terribly expensive like some stuff you might think about, but it is going to come around $50 to $60 if you can find it. This is kind of a hard to find whiskey. It's not the easiest thing to come around. This was sourced from Yankee Spirits, which is local to me, and they do a great job having a wide variety of whiskeys out there, and they happen to have this one there, so I'm more than happy to be able to sample it. But if you yourself can find it, it's definitely something that I would recommend. However, that extra price, I always talk about the law of diminishing returns when it comes to alcohol, and I think this has to play a small factor here. So this is definitely something that I think unless you know about, much like Weller, you wouldn't really be looking for, but it is also priced aggressively, so maybe some, aficionado might give it a shot, but I got to go B+ here. I think if it came in at $40, it would be a perfect A, but at $50 to $60, I got to say it definitely has to come in a little bit lower. And, I'll always rank stuff really above $40. A little bit lower, unless it just, wows me. I mean, it really does. And this does wow me. It just, I think we're designed for a cheaper budget here. This metric is designed for a cheaper budget, and so I tend to lean on maybe the little less expensive stuff. But either way, though, this is going to be an A- overall when we give it the tally. And so this is some highly recommended stuff. If you walk into the liquor store and you happen to find this stuff, please pick up a bottle. You would not be disappointed. It has a beautiful look, almost like a hand grenade quality, like I said, and it definitely is going to be eye-catching. And if you like it enough, you can go out and collect the tops and spell out Blantons, which would be kind of a cool thing if you're into that sort of collection for spirits. All right, so that is our review of Blanton Single Barrel Bourbon Whiskey. I hope you've enjoyed these 2 reviews that we've done this week. We'll be back with the fights, as always, come Tuesday. These are just some holdovers to get some content out to you, as you know. And once again, congratulations to Tyson Fury as well. Spectacular performance tonight. Otherwise, like I said, be back on Tuesday. Until then, happy fight picking.